BYD have gone on the offensive, and so they should. They've called out the US and Europe for being afraid of Chinese EVs. Now, BYD did say that America and Europe are afraid of them. And you know what? So they should be. So they should be. I can see where they're coming from. I would be afraid if I was America. I would be afraid if I was Europe. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. Great to see you. Guys, we have a member section, and if you'd like, you can join the member section. There are some videos in that section that I only post as for members only, essentially. So yeah, it's not very much. It's just a couple of bucks a week, I think, and it does support the channel. So I'd be stoked if you joined up. Now, what's going on here? BYD, what are they saying? Well, guys, I've predicted a few times here. I think 2 years ago when I did a prediction for what I believe would be the 10 biggest car companies in the world by 2030, I said BYD would be number one along with Tesla. Now I'll probably just say BYD would be number one. I've got no idea where Tesla's going to be because on one hand, Elon Musk is saying there's going to be 100 million Tesla cars at some point in the future. He doesn't say when that's going to be, but obviously clearly Tesla are not planning on producing 20 million cars a year like they used to be. They're definitely not planning on doing that anymore. So I've got no idea where Tesla's going to end up. But BYD, I believe, will overtake Toyota quite easily by 2030 to be the biggest automaker in the world. And you know, we're going to see a whole new paradigm shift here with Chinese automakers becoming the Japan of the automotive industry. I mean, Japan's automotive industry will shrink enormously to the point where people will go, well, Japan's cars, EVs, whatever they may be, they're all sort of old technology. And they are already. I mean, we already know that. I mean, even Toyota's hybrids. Toyota are even saying they're going to use BYD's hybrid technology because it's better than theirs. We know it is. It's far better. So what does that tell you? Anyway, is the West afraid of Chinese electric cars? Is BYD right? Well, absolutely. According to BYD's CEO, Wang Shanfu, there are many examples of politicians who are worried about low-cost Chinese EVs hitting the US and Europe. And I don't think this is a controversial story at all. Some people are saying this is controversial. I mean, he's not. No. We're not worried. Come on, you can't be serious. It's clearly they are concerned. Why else would you tax them 102.5%, right? And to be honest, guys, not many people realize this. Both aisles of politics in America in particular have been concerned about Chinese EVs for a long time now. Joe Biden was the one politician in China before he became president who was trying to ban BYD from America. And he was making all kinds of pretty outrageous statements about BYD. If you want to go back to my videos when I first started this channel 3 years ago, I was talking about it then. I mean, when he wasn't the president, it was just before he became president, he was saying some stuff. I'm like, what? I'd barely even heard of BYD, right? I'd barely heard of them, just was starting to find out about them, what they were doing. And I'm hearing this stuff from Biden. I'm like, wow, this dude sounds like he's just furious about BYD. Why is he ranting and raving like this? Well, Biden knew what he was talking about. Who would have thought Biden knew Sleepy Joe knew what he was talking, but he did. BYD says the US, Europe, they're very concerned. If you are not strong enough, they will not be afraid of you, Wang said in an industry event. So they're only afraid of BYD because of how strong they are. He added, there are many examples of politicians in other countries who are worried about EVs in China. So these comments are coming as US has pretty well banned EVs from China. I mean, under one condition, that is, you can bring them in. Now, a lot of people don't realize this, but under Trump made this rule, I believe. If you send an EV or a car that was made in America to China, you can bring one back from China and not pay any taxes, right? You can do a direct swap. That's kind of a fair deal. I think that's a good idea. I've mentioned that many times on the channel. A lot of people don't know about this. A lot of people think, how the hell are Volvo selling EVs or cars made in China in America? Well, that's how. General Motors does it as well. So, BYD's CEO said the tariffs are a testament to the strength of China's automotive industry, and obviously Europe wants to put tariffs on Chinese EVs as well. Now, remember, these tariffs as well don't just apply to EVs, they apply to everything. They apply to electric motors, they apply to batteries. This will affect Tesla. Clearly, as you can see, Tesla is no longer manufacturing the Model Y it's no longer using CATL's lithium iron phosphate batteries or BYD blade batteries, and not that it ever was, but they were not that it ever was in the American version, but they were using lithium iron phosphate batteries made in China by Cadel, the biggest battery company in the world. They are no longer doing that. Obviously, as soon as this change was made to the US incentives, EV incentives, Tesla stopped using those batteries. It stopped selling the cheapest version of the Model Y, and it started using, well, what did it start doing? It started using the Model Y long-range rear-wheel drive instead of all-wheel drive as the cheapest Model Y. That one has 2170 battery cells made by Panasonic in America. So that clearly affected Tesla, and it made them make a change to the batteries they're using. Now, here's the thing. Europe launched an investigation into Chinese-made EVs as the global markets, they say, are now flooded with cheaper electric cars. Is that true? Not really. But anyway, the European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen said that back in September. And in fact, they claim that Chinese automakers, including BYD, are getting direct subsidy payments into their bank account pretty much immediately. As soon as they sell one EV in Europe, they get a direct payment from the Chinese government. And so the European Union says they have evidence of this. The only company not doing this apparently is Tesla, or not getting these incentives is Tesla. And therefore, that means it's an unfair playing field. China has threatened to retaliate with a 25% tariff on imports as global trade tensions have kind of grown between China and Europe. And, China is saying, you know what, Europe, if you do this, we're going to hurt you. Mercedes-Benz, BMW, Stellantis, they're saying to Europe, the European Union, don't do it. We make more money in China than we do in Europe. If they retaliate, this will hurt us. It's not worth it. But I don't think the European Union agrees with that. I think they're going to actually put some pretty big tariffs on Chinese EVs. BYD posted its second highest sales ever of this year, which was an amazing month for them. They sold nearly 331,000 vehicles. But remember, about 86 or 87% of those were sold in China. So the global onslaught is just about to really just ramping up. It's in the ramping up stages. The new BYD Seagull is $9,000 in China. But BYD's plan on selling that car for less than $20,000 in Europe. And they're about to do it very, very soon. So this is a car that, a lot of automotive websites are saying, Europe and the UK, they are petrified that this new BYD Seagull is going to come in. It's going to be $10,000. Now, for one, that's a completely made up story, guys. I'm kind of disappointed when I say these fake stories. BYD won't be selling the Seagull for $10,000, or pretty much the same price they sell it for in China. That's not going to happen. They've already said what the price is going to be. It's not what Electric have told you. It's not $10,000. They're saying it'll be around $20,000, about double the price. Because remember, they've got to ship the damn thing all the way over from China. That's a long way. They do have to pay port fees. They've got to pay dealership fees in the UK. There's all these extra costs involved. There's no way they could sell it for $10,000. That was never what BYD said, ever. The Seagull will be sold, like I said, for around $20,000 in Europe and the UK. And are automakers petrified of the Seagull? Hell no. Why would there be? The small car segment, cars that big, 3.6 meters long, it's dead and buried. There is no, the actual car sales, it's like a couple of % of the entire automotive market in Europe. It's very, very small. That doesn't mean they're not scared of BYD. Hell, are they scared? There's no question they're scared of BYD. They've admitted it. They've admitted it. But to come in and say, to make up these fake stories saying they're afraid of this $10,000 electric car, it's going to smash the market. For one, there's no demand for these small micro cars. When I say none, I don't mean none at all. Yeah, they're going to sell them for sure. They're going to sell some for sure, but it's a very small segment of the market, cars that size. And BYD know that. They're going after this little segment, and they're going to take over that little segment. That's fine, but automakers, they don't care. They've left that. The Ford Fiesta, right? It used to be one of the best-selling cars in Europe. It's now irrelevant. It's now basically dead and buried. It's the era of small cars, of micro small cars, really, really small hatchbacks in Europe and the UK, it's finished. So they're not afraid of that, but they are afraid of BYD themselves, because BYD and their battery prowess, their motor prowess, their ability to make cars and make a profit selling them at very low prices, they can't do that. They know it. That's what they're afraid of. They're afraid of what BYD represents, not that one particular car, the Seagull. That's nonsense. So what is Wang Shanfu planning to do? Well, he knows that For example, imagine if BYD sold their cars at, say, only a price of 40% higher than what they sell them for in China. So they sold the Atto 3. You can get one of those. You can get the cheapest version of the Atto 3 for about $16,000, $16,000 US. Let's say they sold those for $25,000 around the world, everywhere. $9,000 premium. They can still profit on that. Can any other automaker sell a car that size around the world and profit on it at that price for $25,000? No way. It's not possible. And that is why China and Europe are, as he quite rightly said, scared of BYD.